Next one is from Preston Sharp. Subject is Dave Meltzer spoiling Drew McIntyre in the K100 music picks. Just a few days ago, Dave, the biggest AWA, Dave, quote, the biggest AWA alive, I think it means fan, unquote, Meltzer, reported the news that WrestleMania, the plans is for Drew McIntyre to drop the title to Orton, who then traded with Edge leading into WrestleMania 37 main event of Orton versus Edge versus McIntyre. Well, Drew will get the title back. Don't you find it a little strange how Meltzer ever reports a single spoiler ever about AEW plans? It's not like he doesn't know what their plans are, considering they clearly works for them. So what is your take on Meltzer spoiling WrestleMania 37? Also, Conan, what happened to the Joe Feeney song pick of the week? Oh, can't you give him at least one of your songs? How's about giving him the middle song?
How about
first, I'll answer that one first.
I just did. Okay. Number one, I don't accept request. That's right. Number one. That's like right off the bat. Okay, but let me give you an extra one, just like a little parting gift. Joe.
Yes.
Do you have a show? Do you have your own show that you do daily?
Well, I mean, it's definitely
or sometimes.
Not. Yeah, I'd say sometimes.
Okay, what's that show called?
It's called Creative Control Daily.
Creative Control. Are there any other shows that you make a lot of like appearances on?
Yeah, I'm on The Raven Effect. I'm on Hughesy's show, Durbin, things like that.
So you just named 4 shows. Yeah. Go listen to those 4 shows and you can listen to his music there. Okay, boom.
I didn't hear this report, so I don't know if that... Isn't that what Meltzer's always reported on speculation? What's the big fucking deal here?
Right.
Meltzer, that just showed you, it's unbelievable the amount of stooges that the WWE has in that office. Like the writers are, I'm not a fan of spoilers. I didn't hear this because I don't get the Observer, but... I'm
going to start reading the Observer again so that I can be more... Because I don't know, didn't Meltzer report the speculation that Moxley was going to AEW? He did report that, right?
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't remember, but here's one thing I have noticed.
Isn't that a spoiler?
I have noticed this. Meltzer has no problem, none, bearing bad shit on AEW because I've read that. Yeah. But for some reason, and I don't know if this is me now paying more attention, but like there's some matches that like I was watching last week's show of AEW and NXT. And like he gave NXT really low marks in the matches and some that I thought were better than he rated them. And he gave AEW a little bit higher than I would have rated them. So I don't know if there's a little bit of bias here because there's a friend and it's the first time I've really noticed it. But there were some matches like that wasn't that good,
Right. Well, you hear what he said on Twitter this past week where he claimed that the AEW tag division, there hasn't been anything better than this since the 80s.
Dude, even
people, of course, yeah.
TNA had a great tag division.
Because
here's the thing. Wait. Go ahead.
Because here was some of the teams he included as being part of the reason that the thing, like he had the Best Friends, Private Party, Jericho and Sammy, even though there were only like 2 matches. Like he was saying like Adam Page and whatever, LAX, Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks. Best Friends,
the Revival.
I'm like, the Revival, and I'm like,
yeah, they do. They do have a good tag division. They haven't really had a lot of great tag team matches, though. Okay, because I would put LAX, Lucha Brothers, that the Revival,
FTR, yeah,
FTR, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, and what's this guy, Omega. All right. Like you said, Jericho and Sammy, they're not a regular team. Right. I would not put Private Party in that.
Right,
class.
They're too green.
I would not put Best Friends in that class either.
Right.
And we got to include Kazarian and Daniel.
Oh yeah, right. Of course.
And we haven't seen
Sky.
No, I don't even. But we haven't seen really great matches yet. I think we saw the great match between the Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks where they went to a table and all that. But we haven't seen a plethora of great matches.
Let me tell you why.
Yep.
All right, and this is why. I think Dave is off the mark in the statement. Like he thinks he likes all the spots, and he doesn't. He doesn't. If we did a watch along with Dave Meltzer and like watch it, you could probably educate him on some things like, hey, you shouldn't do this here, like the timings, like stuff like that. But he likes the athleticism. Here's the difference: back in the '80s, the tag teams would be doing like angles with each other. And these guys would be on the road like 6-7 days a week, working each other every night, just very comfortable. Bro, these guys show up for TV and wrestle one time, and then they'll wrestle, and maybe they won't wrestle again for another 6 shows later or something like that. The repetition and like the tag division for working with each other a lot is like you don't see that. And
Well,
especially if you're tag team yo.
That's why I told you, and this goes across the board, Glenn. This goes across the board. And I even see it in the Asuka Carey match when you were saying, oh, why do they keep getting ahead of time? Because all these new breed wrestlers, they're all very athletic. They all copy each other's moves. They can all fly. But most of them don't know how to work because, bro, this is an art like everything else. So if you get into the wrestling business, like nowadays, I've read people that they've been wrestling 2 months and they get into the business. What other professional sport could you be doing for 2 months and perform it at a high level? None. Okay. Yeah. So when you get into the business, you're actually like a semi-professional because you're still learning. Doesn't matter that you can, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, hey, this guy jumps really high. Let's put him on the Denver Nuggets and hope he starts. Well, it takes a lot more than fucking just jumping very high. And it's the same thing in wrestling. It takes a lot more than just being acrobatic and doing cool spots, you know? Right. And so those are the little nuances that we notice. You know what I'm saying? That's missing. You know, they don't have nowhere to work. You know, the AEW doesn't let any of these people work anywhere. Plus, they don't have house shows. So how is the young people supposed to get better if they're only showing up once a week? You know?
Yeah.
And especially, and now with this coronavirus, shit's even worse.
Yeah. So the next one is from Matt Miller. The subject is mailbag.
Well, bro, how weird is this? Will there be a new gen? I mean, we don't know where this is going yet, but will there be a generation that will now start working without fans, and they're gonna have to learn how to work without fans?
I mean, I don't know.
How weird is that?
Maybe.
That's an
why
art.
Would you want to get? Why would you even want to get in the business?
But that's an art. Working the fans, getting feedback. You know what I'm saying?
They're definitely not going to be wrestling in Philly for until next spring at earliest. So, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be the deal across the country coming soon.
You could still hold like little mini camps for young guys that want to learn the business and teach them how to amateur wrestler in singlets and just have the heater on in the room.
Mm-hmm. Basement wrestling, you know.
Yes, basement wrestling.
Do that
with an extra side of the candy dish.
But you can't just show up. I need 8x10s first, and they got to be waist up. I need to see shirtless.
Wow,
is that too much?
All right. Well,